jump on into that pick ban. As we can see, it is halfway through right now. And Ancient Apparition and Faceless Void, the two leading off for LGD, while Invictus has started off with a Bad Rider and a Brewmaster. So we're beginning to see these teams really specialize in what they like. I mean, there are definitely heroes that everyone seems to consider good. Skywrath Mage being a perfect example. Picked a lot in our last series, now banned here early. Terrorblade we saw picked twice last series. He's banned out. Brew and Bat, certainly two of the most valued picks, as is Faceless Void. But the Ancient Apparition is a hero we've seen played a lot over the last week in Eastern Division play.
Yeah, and it's totally first picked here by LGD. Not even the first two, just the overall first pick. So they value it really highly. A lot of Chinese teams do. I would say that LGD value it even higher than most of those. They've really seemed to do well with MMY, I think, is playing it most of the time. They couple it with a Vengeful Spirit in most cases. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick it up, not really for themselves, but as a block pick to IG, because it's quite good against the Faceless Void. So wondering if IG actually picks it up now. It could be a good tool. They go with a Shadow Demon, which is also quite a good counter to the Faceless Void. We saw that last night with 5400 playing it.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they went with the Shadow Demon there instead of the Venge. You laid it out perfectly. It's a hero that works really well with Ancient Apparition, works well with any physical DPSer like a Faceless Void, but also, like you said, it would have been a nice counter pick in its own right, just being able to swap out any targets that the Void engages upon, swap the Void out if that seems to be the right play. Shadow Demon serves that defensive purpose, but it wouldn't shock me at all if LGD just flat picked the Venge right now.
Yeah, Venge would, I mean, they like to run the Venge with AA, that's one thing, but it's also quite good against the Bat Rider. If you're on top of your lasso, or not, sorry, if you're on top of your swaps, which I know Faith is. Like, he was really on point last time we saw him play that hero. So, just a thought. I know that I'm just saying that because I know they really like to run it with the AA, but Shadow Demon is still very effective against Faceless Void. Like I mentioned, 5400 just totally outplayed when he was playing the Shadow Demon last night, against the Faceless Void in particular.
Well, they're certainly taking their time, dipping into their reserve time. Once again, this is our second best of three. Game one is beginning right now. And our first best of three was a good one. So make sure that if you missed it, you can catch the VODs on youtube.com/D2LGGTV. That's our official VOD location. Or you can just wait for the rebroadcast. Every night, we rebroadcast what we have going on, and probably during some of our downtime looking ahead the next week, we'll be running those rebroadcasts as well. So no matter how you like it, if you want to interact with Twitch, you can watch the rebroadcast, or if you just want to enjoy it on your own time, it's, again, youtube.com/D2LGGTV. Morphling is actually the pick from LGD Gaming. And this is, I mean, two fairly greedy heroes. I like the Morph and the Void. We've seen them work really well together in Eastern Division play, but there are a lot of opportunities for a team like IG has already drafted with the Blink initiation of the Bat and the Brew to punish it very, very handily.
Yeah, and this is another carry hero that's favored among most Chinese teams right now, and I think that they play it very well. I'm not the biggest fan of it right now. Just, I don't know. I feel like Faceless Void and Morphling are both going to need to get sufficient amounts of farm, and they also have to pick one more hero that's going to run as a core. I'm assuming this because Faceless Void's probably going to be in the off lane, although Faceless Void's a little bit flexible. So, but generally played in the off lane, which means Morphling maybe mid, and then they have to pick another core that's probably going to want farm. We saw this last night when Morphling, Faceless Void, and Tiny were all picked at the same time, and that did not work out at all.
No.
So that's why I'm bringing this up.
No, I completely agree with you. Depending on, I mean, IG has two very strong heroes that could go mid here in the Brew and the Bad. I wouldn't like a Morphling mid at all in this matchup. I don't think he would really be able to do a whole lot unless he was given an inordinate amount of help. And the issue I think that they're going to run into is IG can aggressively tri-lane very easily right now with the Mirana and the Shadow Demon, plus whatever else they want to grab that'll free the Bad and the Brew up for the solo lanes. And the Ancient Apparition, as good as he can be, under heavy duress and under pressure whenever he and whatever other support he's with are not the ones setting the tone, he's actually really squishy and does not deal with that kind of pressure as well as one would hope, especially when it's an immense amount of lockdown like a disruption into a Sacred Arrow. So I want to see how LGD finishes off their draft as they now pick the Puck, which would make the most sense to me as a mid with the Void out in the off lane and, of course, the Morphling being defensively tri-lane. But they're going to need something that can deal with pressure. Otherwise, IG may just pull the trigger and go straight up aggression.
No, I do like the Puck in the sense that this is like their last quote-unquote core, and it's not a hero that really sucks a lot of farm from other people. Actually, Deuce just banned out here last from LGD. So in that sense, Morphling will be able to juggle the farm with Faceless Void just fine. And Puck, she really only essentially needs the treads and the blink. Everything after that's pretty luxury, although it helps. It's not necessary to the advancement of the hero. The only scary thing is that Shadow Demon Mirana, if this is a 4-position Mirana, which I'm assuming it is, it's very good against roaming for the Puck, because Puck is normally good in mid because you can evade ganks, but the setup with the Shadow Demon disruption into arrow, it's actually almost unavoidable if you time it correctly with the arrow, because he can't phase shift because the hitbox of the arrow will take up so much of the area. So it's actually a really good combination. Actually, Lone Druid picked up here last for Invictus Gaming.
That's interesting to me. I want to I don't know. Like they could still try. I don't know, man. Like, are they? I guess maybe just going to use the Shadow Demon and Mirana as a pure roaming couple and try to secure the safe lane as best they can against what they're going to guess is going to be avoiding a Lone Druid, and then maybe try to roam on mid, like you had said. And it is worth mentioning that, you know, it would seem like it'd be easy. It's like, oh, you just spam your phase shift as soon as you come out of disruption, but it doesn't work because the entire arrow, if you're connecting, if you are touching any part of it when you reappear, you're stunned. So even if the arrow's shot way early, if it overlaps perfectly on the disruption, then there's no way, there's absolutely no time at all to allow you to phase shift. But what do you think of a Lone Druid versus Faceless Void matchup? Because I think that could eventually be what it turns into if we start to see the Shadow Demon and Mirana roam a lot early on.
Yeah, if they roam, then obviously Lone Druid would just completely dominate the Faceless Void. So I like that. And that makes me even wonder, since you brought it up, that if Shadow Demon and Mirana roam, they could try to do some kind of cheeky First Blood top, like for the Bat Rider, and start out as a quasi like tri-lane for the Bat Rider, roam around mid and just kind of go all across the map. Because, yeah, I agree. I don't think Lone Druid needs any help whatsoever against the Faceless Void. Lone Druid against melee heroes is fantastic, unless it's like a Tide. Because Tide's pretty difficult to zone out. But Faceless Void won't have the best time if it's a straight up 1v1. And the Tuskar here for LGD. Normally you see this picked up here specifically for MMY. I'm expecting him to take this. And he is just fantastic with this hero. So I really like this. This is actually quite good, because if he anticipates some roaming for the Mirana and the Shadow Demon, and if he is not the one getting gone on, he can save them after they get after you get arrowed with the snowball. So this is a pretty nice pickup here for LGD.
I like it too. It does feel a little gimmicky, though. I mean, it can work in that regard, and you and I have harped on and on about just how strong that hero really is, being able to not only utilize Snowball, but the power of Sigil is so huge against a hero like a Lone Druid, for example.
Exactly. Yep.
So I like it in that regard, but I do feel like if he can, he's one of those heroes that can make plays and serve his purpose, but if the rest of his team isn't capitalizing on the turnaround potential he gives them, then he just ends up falling off and not being worth much. So not only do they have to accomplish what they want with MMY on the Tusk, but they really have to make sure that if they are able to turn these fights and get some wins and avoid some ganks, that they then utilize the time very, very well. So the laning phase is going to set up. We are going to have 5 from LGD moving into the Radiant Jungle now. And July is out front on the Void. And it is going to be a Lone Druid who is solo bottom for right now. And it looks like they want to go aggressive. And it's going to be Schwan playing on the Mirana. And this is exactly what you were talking about, a pseudo kind of a tri-lane setup, and then they'll roam elsewhere. Something else I was thinking, and it's not going to happen now as the Brew is handled by Ferrari. I wouldn't have minded seeing just a pure aggressive tri-lane with a Brew, a Mirana, and a Shadow Demon as well. I think that would have a ton of kill potential. But
sure, yeah.
Not going to be the case.
It's not too bad on Radiant, because I think Bat Rider soloing mid is much better on Radiant than Dire. You have easier access to stack your own camps if you need to. You can push out the wave in mid at around the 30 whatever second mark or 40-second mark, and usually get back in time to actually stack yourself. So it would work on Radiant, but it looks like they've opted out of that, and they're going to have Ferrari 430 just set up shop in mid.
Schwan and Chizbug. Is Siler the one they want to go on? Faith is the better target. Oh, they're going to come right uphill. There's 3 of them coming that way, and they see the Tusk and immediately try to retreat. Siler gets disrupted. Faith and MMY are there. MMY has not placed a skill point yet. And now, yeah, he's going to go with the big snowball. He missed the Morphling on that. June is in the vicinity.
Oh, my God.
Oh, he didn't connect. Barely shorted it. And now they're going to turn this around. Arrow catches Morphling, just trying to get uphill. Firefly damage is going to be huge. They're going to use the Chilling Touch. He's going to waveform up. The damage is pretty good against June. Everyone has made it away just barely. A lot of close calls and near misses on both sides there, but everyone ends up limping to lane, much of their health bar missing.
It was actually so close that MMY both snowballed both him and his other ally onto the cliff. They almost got stuck there. I think I would have left the game if that happened, or taken at least 2 shots at Johnny Walker, because that was so close. I don't know if you saw it, but if they run away long enough, then he gets stuck right there. Arrow does connect onto Yao. Do they have the damage before he can get his spells off?
He's going to go ahead and jaunt away. Ferrari.
The courier!
Only level 1. Oh, wow. Got him! Courier down! Xuan making plays on the Mirana and just being an unbelievable nuisance here in this middle lane. And he's not done. He's going to shoot another one. Oh my God. So close. Yao cut that about as close as he possibly could. Now here comes a rotation from Faith as he's going to try to chase Xuan away. And he is very slow feeling right now, but it looks like he's going to be able to make it to safety. Jeez. This is one of the most violent and visceral first 2 minutes of a game I've ever seen without a single kill on the board.
Yeah, it's Chuan likes to keep his viewers entertained and happy as he's all over the map. But yeah, nice arrows from him. Nice dodge there from Yao, as he was somewhat expecting it and was able to save himself. Unfortunately, the courier's lost, and that's a pretty big deal for Puck early on because he's not going to have his bottle at the same time that Ferrari 430 is. Not even close. Yep. So it's actually a pretty big deal. Bottom lane, Lone Druid missing several CS. I've been watching him here, as he has been missing some, but still pulling ahead. This matchup doesn't really show how bad it is until the Lone Druid hits 5, which he's quite close to. And because he's 1v1, he's going to get those levels faster. Once he hits 5, if he gets a couple entangles, Interlai could easily die here, so have to watch out for that.
Yep, has the Orb of Venom on the bear as well, so just continuing to harass him. MY has made his way down, and they know it as it's being pinged out right now. They know he's coming, and they know they're going to try to do something cute. Jizzbug and Xuan making their way down as well, and looks like they're going to go back to protecting the Lone Druid. So in mid, Ferrari at 10 CS, Puck's at 10 as well. The lack of bottle has not hurt him all that much so far. Are they going to try to do something here? Jizzbug is in a position to run in, but no, I don't think he will. Xuan is nowhere nearby.
Yep, and I'm wondering what kind of build he goes here for the Lone Druid, if he goes Midas, if he goes Radiance over the Mjolnir. Mjolnir's quite good on him now because you don't have to worry about toggling your Mjolnir buff to your hero and then using it on your bear. The bear comes with the standard 300 mana now. So it's actually saving a lot of not only time, but just the annoyance factor of trying to toggle your items back and forth. Not that players can't do it, it takes time, and it's not something you want to think about in the middle of a fight.
Right.
So.
And oh wow, they're going to aggressively go on to the Lone Druid. There are the shards. Jizzbug is there, gets off the disruption, but it's only going to buy time. Xuan is on his way over, but he's going to get there a little bit late. There's going to be the snowball. They catch him from behind. Is the damage there? It's close. Arrow shot north. Jizzbug giving himself up to try to protect the Lone Druid. The Lone Druid, oh no! He actually did manage to bring one down as well, so the Void ends up biffing it. And let's see, does Xuan, yep, coming forward, one more auto attack from the bear, got him. So even though First Blood, actually, was it the Lone Druid that got that?
Yep.
I think the Lone Druid did. Yeah. So a 2-for-1 exchange. First Blood goes to IG as well. And again, like, that's just good play. There's not a whole lot that's more satisfying to watch than a well-played Shadow Demon who knows how to kite a fight, knows how to keep his heroes alive.
Yeah, and also that Soul Catcher, if you were watching, there was a lot of creeps around the area. Actually, more aggression. If they kill him, it's actually massive. Ice Shard's off the mark. Here comes the aggressive Snowball. Kenneth gets a lucky Entangle. They do get a lucky Bash. No Entangles, so RNG in favor of Interlai. That's massive because he just resummoned his bear. So he's got 100 seconds on the sideline for that.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
In the meantime, Jizzbug doing his thing, stacking, and the such. We haven't, I mean, in mid, the courier came back up a while ago. And I feel like Puck's actually done quite well. He's actually out CSing Ferrari, but fairly handily, given he had his courier killed at about 2.5, 3 minutes in. And the Morphling is certainly in great shape at top, leading the way with 30 CS now.
Yeah, that is impressive, actually. I think Panda's really good in this matchup against Puck, because I don't think Puck can really spam him out. I don't think he does enough damage. Like, his auto attack damage is not quite high because the Drunken Brawler is really annoying, and he's actually got 1 point of Drunken Haste, too, so well played by Yao.
Rotation on the way. Xuan and Jizzbug coming through. Shawan's going to go ahead and try to finish off a Mud Golem. Yep, they'll take it. Let's see if they actually want to try to go here. Void is close to 6, but not quite. They're checking him, I'm sure. And now would be the time. Chizbug's going to head north. Going to try to loop around. Actually got a ward down, and it's spotted. And In July is quite low. He's still not 6, but he's so close. And they don't want to go for it, so they're going to let that opportunity pass. Yao, in the meantime, spotted with the Shadow Poison, but takes the Illusion Rune easy peasy.
I wonder if he makes a play here by like baiting him out with Illusion mid and then walking bottom with the coil. That would be really, really good for him. He could even pop an Illusion and TP down there if he wants to be really fast about it, but doesn't look like he's going to try that. No shenanigans for him. June taking some damage. The waveform is on cooldown for 7 more seconds, and the bear is up for 6 seconds, but my god, if he dies right after that, that would be detrimental. It's kind of funny because both teams have this defensive like save you potential with the Shadow Demon Disruption and the Disruptive Snowball. He's actually got 2 points in the Snowball. I find that very strange.
Yeah, and it kind of is. You don't see that very often when Tusk is picked. And usually it's the max sigil.
Yeah, if anything, maybe he wants extra stun duration, but doesn't scale that well. The stun, it only goes up by 0.275, or 0.25.
Void's got a chrono if he wants to spend it. Ferrari does have his ulti. He's down to about half health. He may double back and try to do this as they have MMY over to the edge as well. Bottles up, now back to near full health. And Shuan walks right over the ward so they know where the supports are. Yep, they see them coming. And MMY, under cover of smoke, actually has it popped. Shuan's up on the high ground. There's Chizbug. And here comes the Void as well. Oh, no. Beautifully placed Chronosphere. Barely got Yao in it. Oh, Shuan not going to make it as he's followed up by the Snowball. Now they're trying to turn it around. There's going to be a 2-man coil. Ferrari doesn't have enough mana for his ulti. If they recognize that, they're going to be able to just kill him off. Chizbug tries to make a run for it up to the north. The Sigil has him slowed, though, and in the meantime, In July jumps on top of Ferrari. Puck finishes off the Shadow Demon off the map. Here comes the bear over, and now he has the split. So now In July in trouble. Shuan is there. There's the root onto In July as well. And they're going to be able to finish him off. Behind that, Puck was tossed into the air, mistimed on the arrow, is able to phase shift it and scurry to safety. Has the jaunt. No, he didn't throw the orb fast enough. He may Waning Rift and try to run now. When he comes back down, yep, he's just going to go ahead and throw it. Oh, they got the root, but he is able to make it across. Doesn't matter. Druid with the damage from the Orb of Venom, able to get the last dot tick. That's going to be an earn on MMY. That's going to be 10 kills in 8 minutes. And now mid could be a battleground. Let's see if they want to follow this up. Up at top, we're going to see June trying to defend his own tower. There's a waveform, an aggressive one from Sylar, as he's just going to go ahead and TP out now.
So TP home and then split to his replicate up top for their farm. But the root damage also stayed from the Puck, even though he orbed away. So I was thinking that the Shadow Demon could have just disrupted him in the middle of it, but hey, RNG's just in the favor of Luo. That's really good for him. I wonder if he goes for Midas. I mean, he got first blood. He got stopped a little bit by dying once there when his bear was down, but he's 3-1 right now, so he's feeling good.
I want to see how LGD is going to react. They have a team that needs to continue to play aggressive, for sure. You don't want to let IG be taking their time and getting their blinks up. The Brewmaster, very close to his. The Bat is very close to his as well. Once they get blinks, I feel like there's going to be a huge window of opportunity where they're going to be able to punish LGD until Void gets some core items up before a blink comes out on Puck. He's not nearly as close as the Brew is now. So it's going to be a little bit of a delay for him, and the Morphling certainly needs more time to farm. And I want to see if they try to use Chronosphere sometime soon. It's off cooldown, but it looks like IG's aware of it, sticking together mostly in their own jungle.
There is an aggressive ward here spotting out their movements. And I think that IG's next game plan is just to get their core items, which is Blink on June, Blink on the Brewmaster. And he's very close to it. He has it in about 200. It's a little bit more after the nerf to the gold amount. And June will have his after the stack. Actually, no, he won't. He won't stack it because it's been blocked out. But yeah, I think the game plan for IG is just to wait for these blinks. And here comes another. It's not actually a smoke, is it? Yeah.
Yep. This is what I was talking about. I think they have to do this. If they're not utilizing the aggressive potential they have right now, the core items like the blinks are going to come out, and they're going to be able to create so much space for the Lone Druid to farm. And so long as they're fighting like this and taking objectives, they're going to be able to delay that. The Brew does finish his blink, but they get the Bat, and he's a little bit of ways from that now. There's going to be a coil On to the Lone Druid. He's going to end up dead for sure. The question is how much they're going to have to pay for it. Shards are down. We're going to see Sylar move away. He has a replicant, though. MMY is likely to die here. He doesn't have any mana for anything, and yeah, there's the follow-up kill still. Bringing down the Lone Druid. Quite nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. They also got the level 6 up on the AA, too. June pursuing him. There's a backstab coming here. He doesn't have a blink or anything like that. And is there a coil? There's no coil, so they're just going to have to try to run him down. I don't know if they get this kill. No, they don't.
Yep. They coiled the Lone Druid.
That's right, yeah.
And June, able to keep himself alive in mid. IG wants to pressure the tower to try to force a reaction. TP's actually going to be going to bottom as the Druid just going to go look for more farm. In July, still needs quite a bit of items. Ferrari catches the Ice Blast in the face. Everyone else avoids it. And looks like we're going to stabilize at least for the moment. There's actually a root onto In July, and he's eating a lot of damage just from nothing but root and the bear just doing what he does.
Yeah. And he's saving his gold right now. So I'm wondering, is this going to be a straight Radiance? He might buy the Midas and complete. No, if he did, he would have bought the recipe already. And here comes aggressive.
Yao finished off as that interaction we were talking about was there. Now they're going to try to chase down. Nope, never mind. They abandoned the chase on the Lone Druid. Thought they were going to try to dive him at Tier 1 bottom, but they finish off Yao on the puck with that exact interaction. There was the disruption and the arrow well timed, so it overlapped the disruption circle and no chance to phase shift. Another Ice Blast on the way. Caught no one.
Yeah, and actually Morphly TP'd mid right there to get some farm, but it was canceled by the Flame Break of Bat. Bat, speaking of, has enough for his Blink Dagger. Should buy this once the courier gets back to base, so that's really good for him. And let me check the gold of Luo one more time. Yeah, still hasn't bought anything, though, so this is either going to be a complete Maelstrom or a complete Radiance. It just depends on what he values more.
I want you to look at this, by the way. Look at the sentries that have been placed down here. You see these two?
Oh, in the jungle of the Radiant?
Yeah, yep, and they can't find the ward.
Oh, God.
Yep. Such bad luck. If he placed it just a little north, they would have found it. So, they still have vision of what's going on there. We're at 7-7, 13 minutes in. The Morphling putting a push on to top. June, still, he has his blink on the way to him, actually, I think. Yeah, he does. Doesn't want to reveal it quite yet. They could try to make something happen on this Morphling. They have Chizbug and Schwan in position, and that creep might have saw it if he was watching very closely.
Yeah, that was close. I think he should have waited just a smidgen bit. Morphling sitting at the tower. Maybe he did spot that out.
Yep.
And if he did, good presence of mind from him. Nonetheless, they do smoke up, and they're looking for aggression. They're looking at mid. The tower is less than half HP. They have everything at their disposal now. The Bat Rider ulti with the blink, the Brew with the blink. They're ready to go.
They're going to go ahead and take the big loop. Look like they could have gone to top if they wanted to, but not going to be the case. There are two on the other side of Yao and Faith that are over near the secret shop, so they know something's up. The two at bottom are being completely uncontested. Everyone's actually playing a little ballsy on the side of LGD as they've been gone for a while now. And they're just going to let the Druid take this, I think, instead of risk trying to engage in. If they do engage, they need to do it in a hurry. And Ferrari's in a great position, has his blink ready to go. There's the orb. And let's see. Deny attempt. Nope, got it. Now the TP's going to be coming in. The Bear's re-summoned. And Morphling ready to go. There's going to be the lasso, though. Managed to catch out Yao. Arrows on the mark. Hit him. Let's see if they can finish him off. Behind that, though, there's a Chronosphere that only caught Chizbug. Morphling's going to come in to finish him off. Behind that, though, here comes the Tusk Snowball. Manages to connect. He saved Yao with it. Yao survived because of it. Ferrari now caught with the coil from behind. There's the ulti. Didn't have enough mana, but now does. The rest have to make a run for it. In July, caught from behind by the rock. Yao and company still trying to figure out a way to reinitiate. Schwan hits the Moonlight Shadow. And the snowball just being waited out. In July, able to make it away. Now there's a penguin punch onto the bear. And a very bizarre fight as really the strength of MMY's Tusk showing itself, just kiting this fight out. Not out of the blue yet, though. Or out of the woods yet. As LGD ready to re-engage. They lost Ferrari. He jumps on, only caught the Lone Druid. Very drawn-out engagement that time. And really just kind of bizarre.
MMY, this Tuskar pick is really proven to be useful. Like it's better than the Shadow Demon because you can keep them in the snowball for longer. Yep. And basically what it is you keep them there until their cooldowns are up. So in the first case it was both the phase shift and the illusory orb for Yao. Second time for the Void, it was his time walk was on cooldown. You sit there for 5 seconds with a snowball, wait for it to come back up again. Fantastic play. Not only that, but the sigil floating around the bear the whole time. They were attacking so damn slow.
Yep.
And this is only level 2 sigil. It's only going to get worse.
Yep. Sigil. Tusk is a strong hero.
He really is.
I feel like they're doing a good job of not just letting IG take what is an innately aggressive lineup and dictate the pace of the game. I actually feel like LGD, if anything, is doing a bit more of that. And that's where they need to be. Schwan, Ferrari, and our Lone Druid are there. And, oh, wow, MMY in trouble, but immediately snowballs. Now there's going to be an Ice Blast on the Ferrari. Let's see where this snowball's heading. Big TP's going to come in, and it's going to end up going way deep. Ferrari in some trouble. There's going to be the coil onto Ferrari. Does not have his ulti. Disruptions there. In July, does not have Chronosphere quite yet. 5 seconds until then. That bear kind of hemmed up on his own. And looks like they just want to finish it off. They're not going to try to commit to a bigger fight. Once again, Ferrari's the one that ends up dropping. Now there's going to be a lasso that catches in July. He's going to have Chrono. No, but he has the mana now. If he survives long enough, he'll get everyone. Oh, will they be able to bring him down? They will. The duration on that arrow, just long enough. That would have been horrendous. He had the whole team behind him. If they wanted to reinitiate, he would have had like a 3 or 4 man Chrono. If nothing else, would have been able to run away. But the duration long enough, and they get the return kill. Lost Ferrari, but got the Void.
Yeah, really nice communication between June and Chuan. He didn't want to, he was like waiting to actually throw him or drag him back a little bit further, and Chuan was able to get the nice arrow on top of that. You see a lot of people mess up that communication a lot, but they were right on point. Morphling is still very farmed. He's got his Lincolns here pretty soon, and it's going to be very, very difficult to kill him now that I think about it. I feel like IG are really pressing the issue and trying like way too hard to fight 5-man, but they don't even have the Radiance yet, and I'm pretty sure it is a Radiance build, yeah. So he's rushing the Radiance, and by rushing, I mean it's actually not that fast, despite him getting first blood and a kill right after that. So this is, I mean, to be honest, it's not the best time to Radiance. And they were trying to force so much, I'm wondering if it really hurt them more than it helped them.
Down at bottom, LGD wants to continue to pressure. Tier 1's the target, and most of IG, top and mid, actually all of IG, top, mid, and in the fountain. Smoke out of the AA, and in July still has that Chronosphere. May think about spending it on the Lone Druid here in mid. Some Sylar and Yao that are looking to take the Tier 1 bottom. And in July's positioning here, I think, is just anticipating a reaction. Instead, they're just going to flat out sack this tower. I don't think they're going to be able to trade top, as the glyph is up for LGD, but they're damn well going to try. And down goes that tower. So 3 tower. Creeps are going to be cut, perhaps by Schwan. No, he's actually just waiting to catch them reacting here.
Thing I fear for IG is that they have no way to stop this strength gain from Morphling. Like, even through the stuns and lasso and all this, like, he's just going to get this strength gain off, and they don't have any real hard stuns or no real Orchids carrier. Like, who's going to silence him with an Orchids? Who buys that? Like, I don't think any, like, it has to be the bottom. Like, that's going to be a long time, though. This Morphling pick is, I think, going to be a big problem as we approach 25 minutes plus, and he's already got his Lincoln, so he feels pretty invulnerable at this point.
We can see, like you said, the Lincolns, I was just going to point that out. You know, even if they did have an answer now, at 19 minutes in, with the Lincoln's treads and his wand, he's going to feel very tough to bring down. And they're controlling this map entirely. I mean, up at top, Ferrari continued to push a bit, but now they're just going to send up Sylar. He's going to clear that wave very, very easily. Down at bottom, we actually have a coil onto the Lone Druid. It's by himself. Moonlight Shadow's deployed. Chronosphere is going to be there. And Ice Blast to follow it up. Great kill for them. I believe you are correct, my friend. It is not the time for a Radiance. Ferrari comes back in to reinitiate, though. Hits the clap, and now the split in July.
Snowball.
Oh, snowballed. Once again, saving him. Sylar's tanky that he doesn't care. Now we're going to see in July able to leap away. MMY going to be lassoed from behind. Sylar's tossed in the air by the storm aspect. MMY gets off the polar punch before he ends up dropping, but Ferrari looking to follow it up. If they can get Yao, it might be worthwhile. There's going to be an arrow coming in from Schwan. Caught in July. That'll secure at least 1 more kill, if not 2 more. Yao's very low. Sylar giving chase. Yao finishes up the kill on the Brewmaster, so the fight continuing. These fights have been fracturing a lot. Like, you see these little engagements, 2 or 3 at a time, that are going on in these bigger fights. And it ends up being another trade, a Void for a Brewmaster. This time they got MMY's Tusk as well, though. But The Lone Druid as well did die, so that's another fight favoring LGD.
I mean, we already questioned the Lone Druid pickup in general,
Yeah.
but he did fine. He was in a favorable lane. They ganked for him. He had first blood plus another killer after that. But this is like the latest freaking Radiance, man. And I don't even think it's going to do anything against this team. Like, the cores are very, very tanky. The support of Tusk is quite tanky. He can save people. Radiance doesn't really do much to Puck because despite canceling his blink, he can still get away with phase shift plus blink or illusionary orb. And even if he did go, like, even with all these problems, it's also extremely late. So even if he did have it at 15 minutes, which is like pretty damn good time, this is like late now. It's not even standard time, I would say. And I think the biggest thing is that they went 5-man, but they knew that they were going to go Radiance on Lone Druid. Why not at least wait like 2 more minutes for the Radiance to come online and then go 5-man? That just seemed a little bit strange to me.
LGD has been really on point with their warding. They've had at least one ward down in the Radiant jungle from the beginning of the game, literally. We can see one right here. Look at this. Look how it is just such bad luck. They know there's wards here. Their movements indicate there are, and they keep spending sentries, but they can't find them. This one down here, they've got one up on this ward spot. Roshan dies as it was covered by a typical rune spot ward, and now Morphling has an Aegis. And with all their ults coming off cooldown, IG begins to feel like they're running out of time. The Radiance is done, but if LGD can take another big fight here, that Morphling is just going to hit an absolute point of critical mass.
Yep. Yeah, I know. And in July with getting a BKB, I just, where does the damage come from? Through BKB, through Morphlings, all his stuff? Yeah, I think it's not only an outdraft, but I think that the decision to go this Radiance is just really crippling IG's objectives.
Yao lassoed at top. Arrow off the mark. Ferrari tried to follow it up. Yao's going to be able. Nope, never mind. Died. Did get a silence off. No reaction coming from his team. They were moving in that general range, but unable to really turn that at all. Siler does have the Aegis. Now, if they try to, I think this could be a mistake. Like, if they're actually going to try to push this tower, that's a good pick on the Puck. But Siler has that Aegis, and the Puck's going to be able to come back up. The way these fights have been going, they get the bear.
Yeah.
So he actually manages to kill off the bear. They got to pull back. Like, if they fake back and smoke again, I'll like it. But just trying to push into Chronosphere, into Siler with the Aegis and the Lincolns, yeah, they got to pull back.
I think they know that yeah, okay, they are. I was thinking if they stay, they know that they're on a clock because there's no way this Lone Druid's going to do anything late game. Like, late game, that Morphling's just going to destroy that bear. I mean, we saw right there, even with just small, I mean, I say small items, but he doesn't have, like, huge damage items on the Morphling yet. But even with what he has, he just destroyed that bear. I don't know why he fed it off like that. That's 300 gold, man.
For now, LGD in good shape and continuing to farm, and I'm getting trolled by the confidence cam again. Walrus punch.
It sounded like punch. That.
Yeah, I'm not, when that happens, it's like I have to pay attention because usually if something comes up there, it's something that needs fixed immediately. Right. No, just walrus punch. Walrus punch. That's right. I called a polar punch once.
Polar punch sounds cooler.
Oh, hang on. Ferrari going to be caught by the Chronosphere. Here come the shards in after that. Moonlight Shadow's going to be there, but Ferrari brought down.
Polar punch.
Walrus punch. Finished him off that time. Punch, I think, whenever you hit a creep. And I think the time I saw Polar Punch, I said Polar Punch, it popped up over the Lone Druid's bear when he punched the bear. So whatevs. Either way, the Brew's down. Ferrari down for the count for 30 seconds, and we'll see if they want to continue to push here. But I definitely feel like LGD is in total control of their fate right now.
Yeah, and MMY's almost got it. He's had enough for a blink. I'm pretty sure this is what you go for on a test card. Siler gets hit, not a shit in the world. He does not care.
Siler got caught by a long-range arrow. Oh, they're not going to go.
He is fine.
I thought they would. It's fine, dude. It's fine.
He's golden, man. He's got Aegis, Strength Morph. And yeah, this should be a blink on the Courier here for MMY, I think. Yeah, it's so good on Tusk. Oh, so good.
There you go. And again, look at the warding. They just have total vision of everything that's going on the Radiant side. 2 are about to drop, though, so it'll be less to worry about. But this is a big reason why they've had so much success thus far. Is they've just been able to anticipate the movement of IG and punish them. And the kill score is close, but hang on. IG wants to change that. They want to draw it to even. Gold advantage is LGD's, as is experience. Still plenty of Dota left to be played. And a good gank here onto a good hero. Oh, E-Blade done. on the...
Oh no, it's on the replicate.
Oh, brutal. And right now they're hurting. Here we go. Siler's going to go in very aggressively. Catches Xuan from behind. Does about half a health bars. Yeah, he did, actually. Very well played. Still managed to do about half a health bar worth of damage. But at the same time, a big missed opportunity. The Aegis will be expiring on Siler soon. Like 60 seconds soon, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe even less. So if they want to fight, now would be the time. Looks like they just want to charge down mid, force a fight to tier 2.
I feel like that was my LD moment right there, where I'm like, he disjointed it. Wow. But I'm like, wait, it's actually not that hard. Actually, hold on, I thought his Tuan is dead.
Not going to disjoint that
one.
Yeah. Chronosphere, it's a little hard. A little hard to disjoint. They're going to push the tier 2 off of that. Xuan has played well this game.
He has.
All things being fair, but the impact, I mean, what level is he? He is, yeah, that's what I was going to say, like, level 9 on him, and granted, all the supports are level 9 technically, but Mirani, just because she tends to survive a lot of fights, tends to level up a little quicker. Hold that thought, as now they've got the Lone Druid in trouble. He's silenced out. MMY is eating a lot of damage right now, has a sigil on top of him, uses the shards, but he actually is going to end up dying because he got rooted. Now Yao's on the run. Moonlight Shadow is going to be used. No one on the way to help him. He's going to have to jump into the woods. And there you go. Still being burned down. And now, finally, the blink off cooldown, so he'll be able to blink back out if he wants to. But the power of Lone Druid is still there, make no mistake. And Siler's going to come right on in on top of him, using the replicate, and Yao right behind him. And big misunderestimation. Misunderestimation, that's not a word. Underestimation of how quickly Siler could kill him. He saw the replicate and just waited, and Siler replicated in and just blew him up.
Oh no, MMY just tells the team when Roshan's going to respawn. I love seeing that shit. That's good. Yeah. As he's like, oh shit. And actually, I hear Bat Lasso. It's on to Yao.
Yao could be in trouble. Already phase shifted. And Ferrari there to finish him off. Clap. As that's another kill for the big man. 4-4 and 4 for him. And LGD just can't seem to really pull ahead. Like they get a big kill, then they give another big one up. So still a very competitive match. The gold and the experience continuing to move slightly in the favor of LGD, but the Lone Druid, I mean, if he gets big, he's still going to be a threat. The problem is Siler's getting large at the same time.
I don't think he can stand up to Morphling late game. I think the Ethblade's just Ethblade when he gets more items too, it's just going to be way too much. And if it's the late stage of the game, hold that thought. I heard a Void. He has Chrono. He didn't want to use it because the Shadow Demon was behind and he didn't have vision of him. So nice presence of mind there. But when it becomes the late stages of the game, it's not even about killing the hero. It's if they ever try to push uphill, you can just kill the bear. Like the bear will have such a hard time living.
For now, giving a little bit of space to IG. And I don't know, like the Lone, he's got his plate mail picked up, so he's going to be on the way to an Assault Cuirass, one would imagine. But like you said, the bear, his survivability not going to be super high. MMY able to blink away before the Starfall connects. And he's got 2 that could be on the way. Faith has Ice Blast. He's going to be level 11 soon as well, so it'll be a level 2 Ice Blast. Ferrari making a run forward with Xuan. And they collapse as 4, but don't find anything. But yeah, the Lone Druid, in the lane, it made sense. Everything you're saying can only be echoed. Is what's he really going to do? I mean, the burn damage is legit. It's always going to be. But there's going to come a point where LGD can just face roll you. Can just take 2 or 3 of your heroes off of a good Chronosphere or off of a good initiation from Puck or whatever else have you.
I'm not a fan of the Radiance build anymore. I think that Mjolnir is so much better. I think that Lone Druid and his bear benefits so much off of attack speed. I think that's the biggest thing. Getting those roots and getting those procs is, I think, more important than consistent Radiance damage. Just because Radiance is so, like, costs so much. It's so expensive. I don't think it gives you enough. He's going for AC now. Also, like I mentioned, with that nice little convenience buff, we'll call it, where you don't have to transfer the items to yourself to actually cast the Mjolnir. You can just do it on your bear.
Right.
But, that's also the innate problem that Bear has this game. Is like I talked about, attack speed is so important. But this last pick's Tuskar, where the Sigil is so good against the Bear because he relies so heavily on attack speed, but it drastically reduces that.
Ferrari's also picked up a BKB, so his survivability in a lot of these fights, his ability to get his ult off should be solid. Coming up, though, we're going to have a Roche fight. And it's so hard to tell. I mean, you've got two unbelievably good initiators on the side of IG. I want to say I give the advantage, though, to LGD. Just because of they're going to be able to use Ice Blast. They're going to be able to zone very effectively. The threat of Chronosphere is always going to be huge in conjunction with the Ice Blast. And MMY, of course, can bail anyone out that needs it. And IG very aware that now's the time to go. And, oh, lassoed the replicant again. Oh, that's brutal. So the lasso is going to be down for a little while. And let's see if LGD wants to try to make something of it. They're moving back near their own tier 2. They're going to be spotted by a ward here. So IG knows exactly where they are. And Chizbug just wants to pop his nose in, see Roche is indeed up. And drops a ward to keep an eye on things. Here comes the rest of LGD, smoked, while Siler is out there on his own. In July, might have... Oh, no. They may... Oh, they're going to get him again. Oh, he didn't see him. He didn't see him somehow. Now his smoke's going to be popped. He's going to go ahead and jump up to the high ground. They're going to manage to get the brew. Got him in the middle of his split. Do they have the damage? They do. And now Chizbug caught with the coil as well. In July, pops his BKB. He's going to be brought down by the Morphling, wielding that big old shotgun. The bear's going to be the icing on the cake. Maybe. If they can catch it, things quick. Yao's right there with it. It is burning him down, though. And, they're not going to get it.
Or?
Yao. No, they got it. Look how much health they lost chasing that thing, though. You got to be careful chasing a Radiance Bear. Nonetheless, they got the brew, they got the Shadow Demon, they're likely to get Roshan.
Yeah, the only problem is they don't have any like consistent slow. It's like no Venomance or anything like that. But nonetheless, they got it.
Oh, here comes Schwan hit an arrow on the
super
face.
Nice play.
Yep. This is chancy. They're very low health. There's the illusion picked up by MMY. And this Lone Druid trying to zone them. A good amount of damage. Here comes the lasso on the In July. Going to get him up onto the high ground. No way to save him. Siler's in trouble. Morphing Strength. Waveforms up and over the ward spot. Behind that, we see the Void does drop. MMY using that snowball to buy time.
Yep.
Oh, he does. Makes it up to the high ground. He's going to TP right on out. Roche is at about 1/5 health. And with the Lone Druid still alive, they are going to be able to take this almost certainly. Yeah, just going to go right on in. So IG, off of a couple of really nice plays, good lasso. It was really the arrow onto Faith that led that off from Schwan. And now they're going to get an Aegis because of it, and they'll end up putting it on the Brewmaster. So Ferrari, with a 10-second BKB, he wasn't even able to BKB in that last engagement. Now has that, has an Aegis, and they're in a real nice position.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was... Schwan is really, really playing well this game. I don't know if he had the gem starting off that engagement, but either way, he has it now. I think he might have stolen it. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he got it off of Faith.
But that was really all Schwan, just setting that all up, and they knew that also when Brew was up, they could fight because he didn't, like you mentioned, his arms were up in the air, couldn't get that ulti off. So really nice engagement there from IG, putting himself right back into this game. And we'll have to see if there's a new item coming up here relatively soon for Morphling. It is. It's going to be the Manta. So I still think that Morphling's just got this Lone Druid's number. But he's starting to pack up some new items, which is the AC completed almost. Almost.
Yeah, close.
Actually, I think he has enough for it. He does, if he wants it.
That'll be coming out soon. Correction, it actually is Chizbug who bought the gem that Schwan now has. So.
Oh, okay.
Thought it was dropped off of Faith, but not correct. I could have swore they had a gem. They do. It's on Puck. That's where I got confused. I knew they had one. But anyway, we're at 34 minutes in, and a very tight game remains very close. And again, we've been saying it almost the entire match. Like you can see, the trend on the graph is still was heading slowly towards LGD, but it seemed like every time they had a chance to maybe open up a bigger gap and blow the game open, IG has just been able to find the wins they needed at the right time. Moonlight Shadow deployed on IG now. And they're going to try to find themselves a kill. They're still up on the high ground. And that bear zoning out a little bit. Bat Rider way up front. The rest of LGD playing quite far back. And yeah, they're just going to go ahead and depart. So not wanting to take too many chances. It wasn't a smoke. It was just a Moonlight Shadow. And they knew it was for free. So why roll the dice?
Yep, and I think Bat Rider needs to be careful at this point. I would say wait until you see a hero actually cast a spell so you know if it's a replicate or not. Because Siler's been pretty good about baiting the Bat Lasso multiple times with that. He has a replicate up right now, and it's the Void replicated. So yeah, he needs to be a little bit careful about that. There's an Invis root on In July. This could be a very nice opening for them.
In mid, the target could be Ferrari. He and Shizbug right on top of each other. They really need to, if they want to spin the chrono, they got to get them both.
They don't have the gem on either one of those heroes. What the hell?
Oh wow.
That was
in July. Beautiful chrono. That's exactly what they needed. Now they got to try to bring down Ferrari. He was actually on the wrong target. Now they're trying to burst down Shizbug. Shizbug does end up dying, but June is there with the lasso, so they're going to try to turn this around. They only lost one so far, but June hit with the big F-blade from the Morphling. Now LGD looks like they want to vacate as Ferrari got his ulti off. And wow, they got the bat behind that somewhere. Looks like this is continuing to rage on with Sylar now teeing off. Ferrari's going to be caught, able to blink.
How?
I was wondering the same thing. How did he blink there? Anyway, the Lone Druid, now the next target. Force Staff is there. They're trying to get on top of him. In July, a little too slow coming in. Shards are thrown. Actually caught him, that everyone had already backed off. Sylar being chased by the rear. Now Ferrari comes back in on the Sylar. Arrow on the mark. They managed to drop the Morphling. Now they want to try to turn it around. MMY, no. Barely got off the snowball. It's only going to buy some time, as I don't think he has any help coming. The Sigil doing some slowing, but yeah, Radiance Burn plus a clap. I want to know how Ferrari blinked.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, he had on Cold Feet. Cold Feet was on him. So how did he blink? Like, I guess, I honestly couldn't tell you.
I think it's the server, actually, because, like, I saw the arrow came out onto Morphling there, and it, like, just kept going through to me, but he actually got the last hit with the arrow, so...
Yeah.
And it happened really delayed. I think it's just a server thing. But I want to know why the Void was attacking illusions on Panda, or why he was even trying to look for the real Panda, because Panda has an Aegis. He should have been going for the Shadow Demon right off the get-go. Also, I don't know if you saw, but at the beginning of that fight, MMY blinked into trees and couldn't do anything for like 10 seconds.
No, I actually didn't.
Yeah, I wonder if that played a huge role in there, but he managed to blink out and cast his Polar Punch on the bat, which did help. Even though he was BKB'd, it still slows you. But Sylar has to realize that he's actually not invincible. This is an arrow
in
out
July. Got hit with another arrow from Xuan, the bear, just burning him down with Radiance. And looked like they wanted to initiate, but they really took their time with it. June had Lasso, Blink, and BKB. And even though the Brew didn't have his ulti, certainly he was close. Yeah, it's coming off cooldown right now. That could have been a bit of a missed opportunity if they had just jumped him and tried to take advantage. Nonetheless, they are now in control of the pace of the game 100%. Aegis is going to be expiring right now, though.
Ooh, I really like Mjolnir. He decided to go for Mjolnir instead of the AC. Yeah. And I think that's really good. They realize that, yeah, Sylar's really farmed and Lone Druid's really farmed, but other than Sylar, no one else is really farming if you look at the CS. Like, they're not really getting much CS. Puck has had the same items for quite some time. Same thing with the Void, and he's been using his BKB charges, now down to 8. Not the end of the world, but still. More heroes are farming on the side of IG. So these supports, without BKBs, are actually going to get hurt pretty badly by this Mjolnir.
Take a look at the net worth chart. A lead of almost 7,500 by LGD has all but been erased, down to about 1,000. And the experience is even less of a gap. So IG, able to weather the storm, and if they can continue to play this way, like, I still really like the tools that LGD has. I feel like all things being equal, I like LGD's lineup better. But I do feel like IG's actually just flat out been outplaying them for the last 15 minutes or so.
And Chuan is getting really good item progression. So one of the better 4 players just knows how to, you know, switch from the beginning to the end and turn into a carry. We saw this in Game 3 against, it fails me. Was it Lai or LV? Lai and LV are so similar in their names, so I screw that up.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you remember that when he was like Naga and just totally carried the game?
Yep, so. He was. It was the source of the boomerang rotation.
Yep.
Whenever he walked around for 90 seconds and did nothing but hit 1 medium creep, but
and didn't even kill it. He just hit it.
Yeah, he hit it like twice and then walked away. But yeah, like you said, one of the better 4 players in the entire world. Ferrari, of course, knows how to handle these situations. This is a game, though. I mean, I feel like they haven't gotten all that much out of the Brew. Like, I mean, he's 5-5-5, so you can't say he hasn't been involved. But he hasn't been involved in as much as you usually want that Brewmaster to be involved in, and you certainly died a lot more than you ever want your Brew to die. And how big a factor do you think that's going to be? Now as we're crossing over to 40-minute territory, this is where the Brew doesn't necessarily fall off entirely, but his direct singular impact does begin to feel a little bit mitigated. Do you think that's going to be a big factor now as these heroes from LGD continue to add items to their inventory?
Well, he's got a Vlad's, which means that Lone Trooper doesn't have to buy it. Also, it's very interesting. There's a plate mail onto the Spirit Bear. I'm going to hold this thought, though, because it looks like we're going to see a big engagement. But, well, maybe not. But yeah, actually, it looked like he was going to go for AC on the Bear. But if you look, there's a casual Hyperstone on the Brew. So what else would this be for? I can't imagine a Mjolnir. So it has to be AC for him. So does this mean a Shiva's on the Bear? Keep in mind, the Bear can cast it easily now. So it's very interesting to think about.
Smoke from IG as they looked like they wanted to fake back. And now they're going to head up towards the secret shop and try to come in from this angle. This could be deadly if they do it right. Morphling has a replicate up. Oh, there's a smoke out from LGD. They're not going to expect this. It's going to be coming from all the way behind. But they got to get vision first. They know Siler's there. They don't know where everyone else is. Now they're going to come through. There's In July. Has a chance. He's going to jump right in. Chrono manages to only get one, though. And there's a disruption to buy him time. So Schwan, oh, wow. In July can't pick a target. They're going to try to follow it up. We're going to see the Force Staff to get the Lone Druid out of control or out of the way. Siler trying to find himself a target as well. Now finally Ferrari going to be able to get his ulti off even though he was caught with the root. Yao's in trouble. He drops. This is going to be a 3-for-1 so far. Buyback on the puck right off the bat. They're going to try to catch Siler. Siler trying to make it high ground. He's morphing strength and being pursued. They can't burn him down fast enough. And June's going to be careful as there's going to be the snowball to try and chase him down, and the mobility a little too high. Yao's there, though. Tosses Ferrari into the air as he reassembles. They're going to be able to get him pretty easily, I would think, and they do. So once again, a fight that looked like it was going to be in total control of IG flips its script. And we end up with another fairly even exchange, slightly actually favoring LGD when all's said and done.
Siler's playing really well in these fights. He's choosing his targets wisely. Not so much the same story if you're the Void. As you mentioned, he was really scatterbrained. Like, he couldn't decide what he wanted to go on. And also, he was so close to getting the SD in that Chrono. And the SD completely just stopped the damage coming out from Void. So if they're able to focus fire a little bit better on the Void, I think the fights will still go in favor of LGD. But it's mainly coming down to both the Morphling and the MMY. Like, MMY is creating the longer team fight, making space for them throughout the team fight. And Siler's just choosing the right targets for his Blade combo.
Yeah, no doubt. If he catches that Shadow Demon with that Chronosphere, though, that's a totally different fight. Like, you're talking a different of pixels that completely change the outcome of that fight and potentially this game. It's 20-22. And for the first time since about the 12-minute mark, so about half an hour, for the first time, LGD leads in gold. The experience still slightly in favor of, or excuse me, IG leads in gold. LGD still slightly in favor XP-wise. But now there's a butterfly done on this Morphling. So his combat potential going through the roof. And yeah, I doubt they're going to be getting an MKB anytime soon. The Lone Druid seems focused on other things.
Yeah, he's going to go for a Basher, or he actually has the Basher. And he's basically got a casual plate mail. I just think that's really funny. But yeah, here comes the smoke, and June might spot it out. He does break it.
Oh, got the real Yao. The replicate is down there as well. Siler wants to replicate too. It doesn't look like he's going to. There's the phase shift and able to blink away as they reset on the high ground. Siler's replicate just about to expire, but at least they didn't lose anything, and they're going to double back to Roshan now because they know the lasso's been expended. Without the lasso, the combat potential of IG falls off tremendously.
Yep, it absolutely does. Got a little overzealous there picking him up. He thought he could just be fast enough to take him to his team, but they were just way too far away. They're pinging out top, so they're saying, hey, let's get a trade. We can't fight them at Roche. We have no Bat Rider ulti, but that's a dead Roche very, very fast, and I don't think they're actually going to get top tower.
Nope. Ice Blast is there to get the creeps pushing out a bit.
Although they don't have Glyph, though, so maybe they do.
I don't know. They'd have to commit pretty quick to it, and LGD's going to be able to get on them in a hurry. The bear comes forward to get it. Yeah, they're going to get away. Never mind.
Bear just three-shots it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so easy to underestimate just how hard a bear's hitting in a game like this, and he is hitting for 220-something and 226, and doing it very, very quickly.
You know, with the 40% bonus damage to towers, so
yeah,
he will be fine with that. June has had the same items for quite some time. No item progression for him. I'm interested what Chuan's going to get because it's every time I look at him. Last time I saw Force Staff, with something else. Yules. Okay, now he has another Staff of Wizardry. Is this going to be a Rod of Atos? What else would you get with that? Am I missing something?
Force Staff, maybe?
He already has a Force.
Oh, he does. You're right. Holy crap. Is he going to go Dagon?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think like that makes the most sense based on what's in it. He's got the Null Talisman and the Staff of Wizardry. I think he might. Siler. Bringing down that tier 2 about as quick as the bear brought down the other one. He is so huge, man. He is hitting so hard and so fast. And he's going to be so hard to bring down. They do have the Aegis. I think they ought to just try to high ground here.
Yep, well, they've been successful in at least bringing every member of IG back. And it's just really good if you try to high ground right after... Oh, they're not going to. Okay, well, if you do high ground with the Aegis, you have to do it relatively soon after the Roach, because that Aegis just goes away so fast now, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure. 5 minutes is not a long time. Especially if you fall back, you defend, you wait on your ultis and what have you. Goes by really quickly.
There's always something like, wait, dude, I'm 600 away from my butterfly, or oh wait, I gotta push out bottom. Wait, let me get the courier. I have AC, and there's always something.
They have cheese. Oh, July. Oh, got him. They can't. Can they get to him? No, they can't. He's up on the high ground, and he's gonna be shrouded by Moonlight Shadow. Still trying to find a target. There's going to be a snowball to chase him down. Behind that, though, Siler teeing off and going man-to-man with Ferrari and the bear. Now has the more strength to try to get away. In July is going to be lassoed by June, appropriately. And now In July trying to make a run for it. He's going to be caught from behind. Siler's still there trying to do what damage he can, but he can't do it alone. Waveform's through, has the Aegis. May as well just try to do as much damage as he can before he dies. Here comes MMY, hits him with the Walrus Punch. They're going to get the Lone Druid. They should get the Lone Druid. They will get Lone Druid. Ferrari's already used his ulti, and he's down to about a third health. Xuan has to run as well. Ice Blast connects. Siler's there, Waveform's through to help clean up. There's a buyback out on the Lone Druid. Siler back off of that Aegis. There's the puck. Yao tossed up, and he phase shifts Xuan using the Starfall to try to finish him off. Siler tries to follow him up, but now with the Lone Druid back up, they have to run. The puck does manage to make it away just barely. Looking for... No, not going to find it. Was going to say he was looking for the root, but Siler replicated the puck and then replicated to it. And at the end of that fight, another fight. It's so close. Slight XP exchange in favor of IG. Little bit of gold, but at this point, less than 1,000 gold swing is really negligible. So another very close fight that has a very close result.
They really need to get some better chronos in these fights. Like, that was just such a bad angle to go, and he couldn't even attack him. And even if he could, if he was in an area where he could attack him, the Shadow Demon would have been arranged to use the disruption. These chronos just need to be a lot better. And Xuan is just still, these arrows are proving to be still relevant 48 minutes in, because the cheese was popped by Void, who totally whipped his chrono, ran away in a straight frickin' line. He got hit by the boulder toss anyway, but the arrow was right on the money after the cheese was expended. And this Void is just not doing enough in these fights.
I completely agree. You know, the chronos are catching targets, but the follow-up or the decision-making afterwards is 100% lacking. And it's cost them. I mean, again, that one fight near the Dire Secret Shop, if they catch the Shadow Demon and kill him with the chrono, that fight probably doesn't even occur. They probably just kill him, and maybe the brew splits and they try to fight it, but either way, it's a huge disadvantage. And instead, it ends up being a pretty big coup for IG. And LGD is still slightly in charge. Right around 2,500 gold advantage, and the experience is not that far off either. BKB's now done on Siler, though, and that's going to make things so hard for them. Like, the one thing they've been able to rely on is Xuan's arrows to be on point and to help lock down some priority target. But with him now being so defensive with the Lincolns and a BKB, their damage is just not there. I mean, the bear hits hard, but he has to have more help.
They're pinging stuff out. I don't know if they go on him.
Oh,
here we go. We'll see. Oh, no,
the Lincoln's arrows off the mark, and it's face shift by Puck. Siler using that BKB, trying to more strength, trying to survive. There's the chrono they needed. Caught Siler with it. He's going to work on Xuan. Will be able to bring him down, but just barely. Now Siler still up and alive. In July, being melted down by that bear. In the meantime, it's a 2-for-1. Xuan and Shizbug brought down in trade for the Void. They catch up with Faith as well. And there's the snowball. Yao and Siler might want to re-engage. The Sigil's there. Are they going to catch him? They do. They got him from behind. There's going to be the Walrus Punch. Now the waveform through. Lincoln's going to be popped, but he's doing so much damage. Got him! Siler finishes him off, and now June could be in trouble. MMY needs to get out of the fire. Yao's there, hits him with a silence. MMY still alive by some miracle. Sylar pushes him down into the river. Let's see how June wants to do this. Yao has to be very careful. And Sylar very low as well. Ferrari back up, trying to chase Sylar down. Sylar's, yeah, he's going to be able to make it away. There's a bounty rune here. Would have loved for a regen, of course. Kenny, more strength. Yes, morphing the strength, trying to buy time. And he needs some help. Yao's going to be there finally. The Yule's going to be enough to force Ferrari back. June's running around with no health and no mana. And another extremely long and drug-out fight. This time, though, it goes in favor. I don't know. I mean, the gold change is minimal, as is the XP change. It's just a whole... This feels like two punch-drunk boxers just going haymaker for haymaker at this stage.
Well, at least Void is getting more item progression and more farm. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
I was looking at the net worth before, and he was just getting, like, 6th or 7th on it. Finally, his ulti was decent, but it caught the Morphling, who just BKB'd.
Right.
So if he gets 2 heroes, or even a hero that he can hit with Morphling outside, I think these fights are going to be so much easier if these chronos just are a little bit more on point. And finally, some item progression with the Puck, who's had the same items for so long, finally gets something else, and it's a cheap stick for him. So, yeah, BKB definitely proved to be effective, but he's 6-slotted, so Morphling's as big as he's going to get. He can switch out the treads for bots, but that effectively makes him a little less tanky and does a little less damage. So he's 6-slotted, whereas the bear can get 12-slotted. So we'll see if IG wants to take this a little bit later, because if they can survive these fights and even exchanges against a 6-slotted morph, I don't think they're too scared, to be honest.
I think that Scythe of Vice on the Puck's a huge pickup, though.
Sure.
It's now an answer to the bat. It's now an answer to the Shadow Demon. If he's not caught in the chrono, if you can get on him and hex him, just to guarantee that he's not available to disrupt a target, that's huge. Not to mention the Lone Druid and the Bear, which have been challenges for quite some time now. Would imagine we're going to see a bit of quiet time until the Roche is back up. It's going to be about 90 seconds. And the Bear's item progression, what does he have? What is he buying? Let's see. He's got a Demon Edge on him, so looking to add some of the Bear out here. Let's see if they can track it down. There's the shards on point that time, and the Hex put to good use. That's going to be 300 gold that ends up being picked up by the Morphling. So not only do they get the kill on the Bear, they get it at the right time as Roche is about to respawn, and they get it on the right hero. How long? He'll have the ability to resummon very soon. But he's only going to have one Bear, I think, right? Is there a Bear on the map anywhere I'm missing? We'll check here in a minute. But LGD getting a very fortuitous pick, and now looking to press their advantage.
Does this mean like 1 minute left on the Roche?
30 seconds.
30 seconds? Okay.
Yep.
So if they know and they just wait around, I think they get it before the Bear actually... I mean, I guess the Bear's going to be up at the same time, but they're all in their base.
But it's just one Bear, right?
That's just one Bear. Yep, just one Bear. Sorry, my mic was muted there for a second. I don't know why, but yep, just one Bear. It is, as you predicted, the Dagon is. It's up to Dagon 3 for the Miranda.
That burst.
That burst, though.
Yeah, I think they can just... Well, they can try to whittle this tier 3 down and then fall back, but they don't know Roche is up. We do. It's easy for us to make plans when we have that knowledge. So they may just try to slow siege this out. We see the replicate on the Brewmaster. The Bear's going to try to chase it away. And they could fake back here. Do they have a smoke? This is a perfect time for a fake back. They don't have one, though. Like, I love when teams do this. They go and they push in an obvious moment when it's going to make the most sense to take a Roshan. They'll fake back and they'll smoke, like right here after dropping a sentry, and just wait. And they're still kind of hanging around there.
Yeah, well, they have the replicate going in that direction from the Morphling. They actually haven't even checked out to see if Roshan was up.
Oh, they're going to bite. IG biting. Smoke pop. They know. They got to go quick. June gets off the BKB. There's going to be a chrono that got everyone on the low ground. They have to get to someone, though. As of right now, the follow-up not there the way they would have liked. It's a godlike streak for Sylar. They have gotten 2 down in July. Going to work now on the Lone Druid. Sylar's still up and running and in great shape. Lone Druid's down. Who needs a fake back smoke? How about we just go and stand and wait? They do, and they get 4 for 0. As the Brew is going to be 5 almost certainly as soon as he reassembles. Where did he go? There he is. I lost him for a second in the trees. And yeah, they're got to make sure he can't blink. And yeah, Ferrari, full 5-man wipe. Sylar, beyond godlike, Buyback on the bat. Who else has buyback? Brew does not. Lone Druid does not. Schwan does it. This is probably game.
That probably is. Yep. When they realize, they'll know once they get racks that they don't have buyback, and at that moment, they're actually cutting through backdoor protection, but if any hero can do it, it's Morphling hitting for, at that rate, for nearly 400 damage.
Yep.
And remember when I said that they need some better Chronos? How about getting literally all 5 of them?
A good full team Chrono's okay. It's all right.
Literally
he actually got
all
4.
5.
Got 4. Didn't get the bat.
Really? It looked like Bat was stuck there on the edge. I could be wrong. I'm going to go watch on stream now. I have to.
It's possible. I was waiting for the follow-up because they were actually engaging.
He was stunned by something then. I don't know what, but here we go. June's trying to make the best of a bad situation.
Super dead.
But no, this is probably game.
Ball game. They're going to wait on the Lone Druid, but I don't think it's going to matter. With this kind of a lineup, with 2 lanes of racks down, they may just go Megas. There's a refresher on the Void as well. 1 tier 4 drops. They're going to go Throne. Bats down for the count. No buyback on anyone from IG. And they jump right ahead. And they're just going to buy time. Yep, buy time. He can refresh. No, he doesn't have the mana, actually. It's irrelevant. The Ancient's going to end up dropping. And this first game of this series lived up to the hype. Coming into it, we knew it could be one of the best series throughout D2L so far. And game 1, certainly not short in delivering on that promise. Took about an hour, 56 minutes, but finally LGD, after leading the majority of the early and mid game, gave back some of that momentum to IG, but IG just unable to close the door. And so much of it, I think, man, does come down to the draft and just the innate weaknesses and strengths of these 2 compositions.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think that Sylar played spectacularly. I mean, look at it, 18-1 and 6. Had some questionable Void Chronos, but obviously it doesn't matter. It's kind of like similar to like an Enigma if you watch him all game. It's like, oh, he's never using the black hole. It's hard for him. Oh, missed whiff black hole. But that one black hole at towards the end of the game could totally change it all. And then you forget about all the rest.
Exactly.
So that definitely made up for the previous Chronos. And fantastic fight right there. It could have gone on actually a lot longer. Like that could have been an 80-minute plus game, but really sealed the deal right there. No buyback, unfortunately, for the members of LGD at the last fight. But yeah, MVP definitely to Sylar. And MMY was even though he was 5, 6, and 11, had some really clutch snowballs that really dragged out the team fights early on in the game.
It is so hard. And, you know, it's something we honestly didn't talk a lot about. But so much of IG's composition, the way they wanted to fight, was time-based. It was based on the Brewmaster ulti and getting a lot out of it before he reassembled. Based on the lasso and being able to do a lot while a hero's lassoed. Based on the Mirana, if she hits an arrow, making sure you capitalize on the stun duration. And that Tusk pick, along with, I mean, just the composition as a whole, really good at escaping, really good at some trickeration, and really good at dragging the fights out. And in the end, IG just couldn't overcome it. So LGD takes game number 1. We now look ahead to game number 2. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, broadcasting live here in our downtown studio in San Francisco. Hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast. Potentially our last game of the night coming up next. If LGD can finish it off 2-0, we'll see if IG can turn the bagel into the breadstick. A 0 into a 1, by the way. I feel like I have to explain that all the time. It's a 0, which is a bagel, into a 1, shaped like a breadstick. So if they can turn the bagel into the breadstick and tie our series up, while we're away for about the next 5 or 6 minutes, if you're in the market for a new headset, make sure you check out Kingston.com/D2L S5. Fantastic deal on HyperX's cloud headset, the headset I use at home, the headset Trout's wearing right now, and the headset many of your favorite pros prefer. Make no mistake, an amazing deal at $69.99 for one of the best headsets I promise you will ever put on your ears. Again, it's Kingston.com/D2L S5. I'm AC, and that's Trout. We'll be back. Game 2 of IG versus LGD.